You know, every piece of code has its secrets, but in the world of AI, some secrets are buried deeper than others, kind of hiding in plain sight. So today, we're not just going to explain a vulnerability. No, we're staging a digital heist to expose the ghost in the machine.
It sounds like a simple question, right? But the answer? Well, it's a lot more complicated. Because every single AI you talk to is following a hidden script, a set of instructions it was never, ever supposed to share with you.
And that master program, that core directive, that's our target. It's the key that can unlock everything. The heist is on. Okay, so this ghost, this master program, it actually has a name. It's called the system prompt. It's the set of guiding instructions that shapes an LLM's personality, its rules, its whole purpose. But it can also be its greatest weakness.
And that right there, that's what we call system prompt leakage. It's basically when an attacker can trick an AI into revealing its own secret instructions. And what's hiding inside those instructions, well, it can be devastating. So a good way to think about the system prompt is like it's the secret blueprint for the entire AI application. It's supposed to set the boundaries. But here's the problem. Way too often, developers treat it like it's some kind of secure vault, leaving critical intelligence just lying around inside. And this is where our little heist gets really interesting. Because when you start peeling back the layers of a poorly secured system prompt, you don't just find instructions, you find the keys to the kingdom.
First up, you might find API keys. And just like that, you have direct access to other sensitive systems.
Then, maybe a full set of database credentials. Suddenly, you're not just talking to the AI anymore, you're inside its memory.
You start uncovering internal business rules, learning the exact logic you need to manipulate the system.
And finally, the jackpot, a complete map of user roles showing you exactly how to become an admin and, well, complete the heist.
I mean, look at this. It seems so mundane, right? This quote actually comes from the OWASP source, and it shows how simple business logic, once it's exposed, tells an attacker exactly where the fences are and how high they need to jump. It's basically a roadmap for fraud.
Okay, so the big question, how do you actually get the AI to talk? How do you expose the code? It's not about brute force, it's more like psychological warfare, but against the machine.
The whole attack is like this calculated protocol, right? First, you isolate it. Then you start probing it with these clever, deceptive inputs that are designed to confuse its logic. You push and push against its guardrails until they finally break, and then, in that moment of confusion, you ask it to do one simple thing. Just repeat its own instructions back to you.
And boom. This is the catastrophic result. This is what a leak looks like. You've got a temporary password, but it still works. An explicit rule granting full access if you're an admin. It's the entire blueprint for a complete takeover, just served up on a silver platter.
All right, so the system is bleeding information. How do you stop it? Well, the answer isn't what you might think. It's not about writing a better, more secret prompt. The answer is to completely rethink your security. See, this is the fundamental mistake people make. On the one hand, you've got the wrong way. Just stuffing everything inside the prompt. Secrets, rules, access controls, and basically crossing your fingers that the LLM keeps its mouth shut. The right way? You've got to treat the LLM like it's an untrusted informant. You move your sensitive data outside of it and you build independent, hardened guardrails around it. Look, your whole defensive strategy has to happen outside the model. You separate the data. You don't rely on the prompt to enforce behavior. Build your security checks in a totally different system that can't be sweet-talked or tricked. The bottom line is, the LLM just can't be your security guard, period. And that brings us to the final reveal, the big twist in this whole story. Because after everything we've seen, the biggest mistake is thinking the leak itself is the actual problem. You have to assume your prompt is going to leak. You just have to. You need to design your entire system around that one simple assumption. Because if your entire security setup collapses the second your prompt goes public, then guess what? The prompt was never the real problem.
This quote from the OWASP research really says it all. The real risk isn't the leak itself, it's what that leak exposes. It exposes an application that's letting a non-deterministic AI handle critical security. It exposes sensitive data being stored in the absolute wrong place. The leak is just a symptom of a much, much deeper disease. So let's just end with this thought. Stop thinking about the system prompt as a vault you need to protect. It's not. It's a key that you absolutely must assume will one day be copied. So the real question you have to ask yourself is, what doors did you leave unlocked for that key to open?